Joining us now is the effervescent Stanley Jacobs. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on there.
So, Stanley, tell us about pitch people. What does that exactly mean to you, that phrase?
Well, it's funny when I worked with one of the guests that's been on one of your previous shows, Forbes Riley, and so she can probably just based on how she is, you can tell that she was a person that could really pitch products. And I made this documentary film before I worked with Forbes. I made it back in 1999, and I'd worked with a lot of people that pitched products, the ones that actually pitched directly to the camera or that demonstrated products in the state fairs and on the boardwalks in the East Coast at Asbury Park and Atlantic City. And because I found them very interesting and fascinating, and I thought what they did was very cinematic, I decided over a 3-year period to document them in between my regular work. And so I photographed them, interviewed them, and then I put the film together and pretty much put it out there. Now it's been like 25 years, and the film has never been on any streaming platform. So what we did is we restored the film with current digital technology, and it's in theaters right now. And it's been great to get it back out there because a lot of people never got a chance to see it the first time around.
There's a clever nuance about people that do that for a living, correct? Like, was there like a common denominator that you found that makes people kind of like, walk that walk and talk that talk? What are some of the things that you discovered as you were documenting all of this?
A lot of it's linked to their personality and how they come across to people. So a lot of some of it is the humor they use because they interject a lot of humor into their pitch to make people feel comfortable about what they're talking about. And sincerity, I think if a potential customer detects that this person really doesn't believe in this product, they're probably not going to buy it from them. So those are probably the three main elements I felt that I saw that I think contributed to them being who they were. And it really didn't, as far as looks, a lot of times they say, well, you need to be young or handsome or beautiful. Well, if their pitch and their personality was really strong, that really wasn't as high in a factor as far as their success goes. And I kind of appreciated that. I thought that was neat because talent, their inner talent, really showed more than their outer appearance.
You captured something with what you just said, and I think that is important. It's a sincerity. Like if I'm going to go try to sell you this cup, right? It's not the cup that I'm selling, it's the benefit or maybe the warmth of the joy of when you're drinking something like that's refreshing or it's like warm and cozy inside. And, so anybody can just like sell you a cup, but to sell you an experience is quite a different thing. Do you have
Yeah, I agree.
favorites? Do you have favorites along the way
Is-
where there's certain ones that popped up for you?
Uh, I that's a hard question to answer. It's like picking your favorite music or your favorite film.
Okay.
I'd like
Okay.
they're all they're all great and different. For knives, Arnold Morris was probably the king of knife demonstrations, and he's luckily I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he's featured throughout the film, how where he came from, and actually some footage of him actually performing on a live to tape infomercial. And Nancy Nelson, of course, she's from Minnesota, and she's one of my favorites because she is so good at what she does, and she locks right into what's going on. She sort of gets it, and there weren't any really that I worked with that weren't that didn't come across to me as being really genuine. Jan Muller's another one. Joe Fowler. They're all great at what they do, and they love what they do, and they like the performance aspect of that, and that's what contributes to their success, I think.
And I think, getting that buyer ultimately to part with their money is not the easiest feat, right? You not only do you have to present something, but you have to make them interested in it such a way that it's going to cause them into action, right? That there's going to be some sort of step by step process. Is there like a magic formula for the perfect pitch in your mind?
We the film basically lets them all tell their story, and there's no narration or anything. All the pitch people tell you what's going on, and they all kind of reveal what that is. There's one we kind of deconstruct the pitch, and one gentleman he used the term AIDA, AIDA. You get attention, interest, you demonstrate it, and then you take action. And that was his formula for doing his pitches. And then he says that formula really applies to anything in life, whether you're trying to impress someone or you're trying to sell them something. That would always be a good guideline to go by. And if you stand back and see what people do, whether it's a salesperson, or politician, or someone that is trying to convince you of their point of view, they're pretty much using those techniques. And I think the ones that are more successful use those techniques very, very well.
I have to agree with you. When I was in art school, that's one of the things that we learned. We called it AIDA, just like you did, but we used the attention, interest, desire, and action. And then I also love, even with my guests, a lot of times, Stanley, I talk about SOAR, SOAR, which stands for situation, objective, action, and result. So the situation was, it was cold outside and somebody wanted a hat. Their objective was to keep their head warm. The action they took is that they bought the hat. The result was their head was warm. I mean, that was just like basic off the top of my head. But I think sometimes those tried and true acronyms or steps that we take, and like you said, anything we do, even in life, is valid, and I can't wait to watch your film. I'm super excited. Congratulations on bringing this and remastering it. I think they remastered it in 4K, so it probably looks fantastic. And you've probably kind of curated, if you will, a little joy, a little gem for all generations. So that's kind of cool, and kudos to you for that.
Right, thank you. Yeah, I thought it was a cultural document of our time, and our times have changed as things always evolve and go on. They're not as prevalent as they were before. There are still pitch people in fairs and things like that, and you see the current permutation of it really are the influencers on social media. And the big difference I've seen is while the influencers really produce some impressive results, they're maybe not as skilled as this earlier generation of people that used to pitch these products.
I was going to say, because they would walk the walk and talk the talk. If they were going to bite the burger, they're going to bite the burger, right? Where now somebody will say,
That's
oh, this is the most incredible burger that it ever was, blah, 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 blah. And then 30 seconds later, that influencer will just take it down. They weren't really even eating the burger. But I think the pitch people of that era, they actually engage with the products.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's the big difference. I think maybe as they mature and that the influencers evolve, maybe they will start actually demonstrating the products and believing in them a little more than they do right now.
Thank you so much. Happiness to you, and it was a delight, and I'm so glad that we got connected with one another in this way. So, continued success to you, Stanley. I mean that sincerely. Thank you for showing up here for me today.
Thank you, Donna. Take care.
Okay, be well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There you go. Pitch people, wind up the pitch and let your delivery begin. I thank you for watching. I'm Donna Drake, and stay tuned for more. We've been living it up right here.